Okay, so I've pulled all of the blocks out and the different platform that we use sometimes when we're using the blocks to show you guys how these work, all right? Normally a set of jerk blocks contains 3 different blocks at different heights. We have this small block here, we've got a medium block here, and then we've got bigger blocks, which somebody stacked the 2 big blocks together. All right, that's okay. These blocks are interchangeable to give you whatever height that you need. What we recommend though is once you start figuring out exactly where the barbell needs to be, depending on if it's snatch from the knee, snatch from the power position, clean from the shin, whatever it is, you guys write down in your book which blocks you used exactly so that the next week you don't have to mess around figuring out which blocks to set up, okay? Now, one thing that you guys will notice is that there's this topper block, okay? And this block must be used on all block movement, okay? Whether you're doing jerks from the block, snatches from the block, whatever it may be. And here's the reason. As you guys can maybe see from this video, these blocks are essentially hollow except for a couple supports, okay? Now, if we look at the top, this is all that is protecting the block from the weights crashing through in certain spots, okay? This is probably about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches thick, okay? And so this topper adds another couple of inches of just solid wood protection, all right? That is gonna make sure that our blocks stay healthy for a long time and that we don't have any weights crashing through the blocks, kind of like what happened to some of our platforms. You guys can see it right there, all right? It won't crack through. The other thing that this topper does, guys, is it gives us more surface area on the top. Now, you'll see these little wedges, and these wedges look exactly the same as these wedges that are on the topper block. However, the wedges that are on the blocks themselves are spaced in quite a bit more than these wedges on the top, okay? And that's to allow the blocks to fit together seamlessly. So, as you can see, maybe in this video, with this topper on, I've got all this surface area so that when I drop the weight can roll around. If I'm not super accurate or I miss one behind, I won't hit this stopper right here in the middle and cause the barbell to go forward or backwards or jump all around, but I've got a little bit of extra play. On this one, you can see that I've got a lot less surface area and my target has to be more precise. So that's why we always use the topper. 1, for safety of the blocks themselves so that they don't get damaged. And then 2, we've got a bigger surface area for our weights to drop on before we start hitting these edges to where it can bounce out kind of erratically and unsafely. Okay, so again, all of the blocks have these cutouts in the bottom, and so do the toppers, and that's going to allow any of the blocks to get mix and match however they need to, and also for the topper to go on nice and securely. So now that's locked in, I've got my block set up. So then the question always becomes, well, Nick, when I put the topper on, the barbell's out of place. I'm too tall, I'm too short, and so can I lift without the topper on so that the barbell's in the right spot? The answer is no, okay? Just simply put, these blocks are expensive. I've made a couple of them myself at home, and they're a pain in the ass to build, so I'm sorry, no. What we've come up with, though, is a solution, and that's what this riser is here for. And so if you're one of those people that have an odd position with the topper on, we have that giant semi-platform, okay? And that platform's designed to go in between those blocks, okay? So from here you can see that I've got quite a bit of space that if you're a jumper forward or a jumper backward person, that you're able to lift on this platform. It's wide enough, it's long enough so that you can raise yourself into a better position even with those toppers on. All right, so now the blocks are set up. If I were program for you guys to take the bar from mid-thigh, okay? So, a little bit higher up the thigh, as you can see in the snatch. Once I get set up, that bar is a couple inches from mid-thigh. If I were to do the clean, okay, same thing. It's about mid-thigh for me, all right? What we're looking for here, guys, is that when when you get set, the bar is not actually resting against the thighs, but it's actually maybe like a hair away, all right? That's gonna allow us not to drag the bar up. We're looking for good contact. In this position, all right, I wanna see you guys with the chest over the bar. We're exaggerating here, all right? We're really teaching you guys to stay over the bar. We talk about this all the time. Be more patient. And that's what blocks are going to do for us, all right? So I'm going to hit a snatch. You'll see I'll get set. I take a second, and then I pause from there. I don't use any more or extra body English to try and get this bar moving. I don't jerk it really hard. I get set. Everything gets nice and tight. Bam, hit the pocket, and go. So, snatch for mid-thigh, off the blocks. Here we go, we'll do a clean for mid-thigh, off the blocks. Okay, so you can see that I put the riser down on the floor. This is so that we can move up a little bit higher. All right, in this position, I would program for a snatch or clean from about right above the knee or at the knee. You can see that when I get into my snatch position, that bar is about maybe 1 inch above my kneecap. All right, if you're a little bit taller or if the risers don't work out and it's right here at the knee, that's okay too. We really don't want it very much higher than this. This is right where that teardrop in the quad is at, all right? That's what we're looking for. Again, we're just brushing the hairs of the legs. We're not actually touching and scraping up the leg. And then we're gonna go, I'll show you a snatch and I'll show you a clean from this position. Okay, so again, I get set up. That bar's not actually touching my legs. I'm driving out far over top. And go. All right, we'll do a clean. Same thing. All right, so 2 positions we're going to show you here. What's going to make a difference is this riser on the bottom, okay? First one's going to be high thigh. Second one will be from the power position. So with the high thigh, I'm not sitting back completely in my heels yet. All right, I'm still over the bar slightly. The bar is going to be right here, about, if where I hit, it's a couple inches below where I hit, all right? That sweet spot. Bar's still not quite making contact when I get set up. I'm still driving over the bar. First movement, shoulders back and up. Make that contact, go under. All right, these last ones are going to be done without this riser here. So, I'll be a little lazy, just take it off. All right, and you can see what this does to the bar. Now when I'm in my power position and I'm set up, that bar is right here, okay? Heels are down, chest is up, I'm ready to pull underneath of it. And this is a very difficult position. This is going to be very much like a tall snatch. And this is really going to teach how to pull under the bar fast and with some speed. So let's see if I can get one. Okay, now for the clean. All right, so just a couple quick words of safety, all right, while we're talking about the blocks here before we move on to the risers. You'll see that there is quite a bit of space for this bar to move, all right? So eventually it's gonna happen to where you guys are gonna miss, all right? And that's okay if you miss. A couple of different ways you can miss on the blocks and still be safe, all right? Is one, if you're gonna miss, try and get it back on the blocks and just follow it down slightly, but still let go of the bar. You never want to follow the bar all the way down, holding on to the very last second, all right, because that bar is going to bounce, and if it bounces, especially off of higher blocks, it can jam your wrists, all right? So you'll notice in all of the videos, all right, when I take it down, I do release it right around eye level, and then I just follow it down, taking my hands off and just letting it bounce, all right? I don't want it to bounce all over into my neighbor's platform. Another bad thing that happens every once in a while is that it'll actually bounce off and it hits the barbell, right? We're not trying to bruise up our barbells. We're not trying to bang them up, bend them, or anything like that, all right? Another common way to miss on blocks, and it's really just fear and being claustrophobic a little bit, is not getting an aggressive turnover. And if that happens, you can just drop the bar in front. Again, notice when you're gonna fail, drop the bar, all right, let go, huddle it, all right, make sure that it doesn't go crazy. I'll kind of demo what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna purposefully try and miss to the front, all right, from a lack of an aggressive turnover, and you'll see what I mean. Okay, I felt that I was not gonna get it. I moved back, follow it down, all right? I didn't try and save it too much, okay? Another way to miss to the front is one of those ones that you just chase, okay? If you're gonna chase it off the platform, that's fine, all right? Drop it off the platform. Don't try and come back and hit a target, all right? So what I mean by that is, it's one of those ones I'm running forward, okay? Just at the edge of the platform, go ahead and drop it there, off onto the floor. That way we're not messing with anything, all right? The last way that you can miss, I'm not really gonna demo this one because it gets a little sketchy, all right, is missing behind, and it's gonna happen, so don't be scared of it. All right, the biggest thing when you miss behind, just get out of the way, all right? Lots of bad things happen when it goes behind, so don't try and save anything, all right, with the blocks unless you're absolutely sure you can save it. You start feeling it go backwards, ditch it backwards, walk forward, okay? Brittany lost the phone, rest in peace. Trying to save one that went backwards, she actually dropped the bar all the way back here, all right? So as soon as you start, feel that bar go backwards, go ahead, drop it, get out of the way. Maybe I'll try one. I might edit this out, we'll see. All right, and that's what we're talking about. So that one went pretty well. It didn't hit a bumper or anything like that, all right? If it hits one of those stoppers, it has a tendency to come forward. So if you're missing backwards, go ahead and just keep walking off the platform. Try and be safe as possible, all right? You guys should really be paying attention when you're lifting on blocks. You shouldn't have anything behind you, not cell phones, water bottles, knee wraps, belts. You shouldn't have people sitting there, all right? When you guys are on these blocks, you should be really aware. Well, actually, the person lifting next to you should be aware because they do bounce around a lot, all right? That's not to say that they're not safe. They're an awesome tool. They're especially really safe when we're doing multiple jerks off of high blocks. And so you shouldn't have any fear of it. We should have some fun. This is really gonna improve your guys' technique. Just want you to be safe as always. All right, and so finally, the last thing that we're gonna see in this cycle as well is pulling off of risers, okay? Take two. Okay, so the final thing that we're going to show in this video is something that will come up in this program is pulling or snatching or cleaning off of a riser. Okay, and what this does is it puts us in a position where we're lower in our start position and really strengthens. Let's do another take. Okay, so All right, final thing that we're going to talk about, all right, is pulling or snatching or cleaning off of a riser. Okay, so we had off of blocks. All right, if we say off a riser or on a riser, what we're talking about is either a deficit, and what this does is it puts us in a lower starting position and teaches us how to really get into a good start position, strengthens our back, strengthens our core, just really good foundational work, all right? And so what we'd like to see is if we're doing one of the full classic lifts for you guys to use this bigger platform, all right? If we're just using snatch pulls or clean pulls or whatever, snatch deadlifts on a riser, pair of plates works fine, all right? But if you're gonna be doing the full lifts, we'd like to see you guys use this platform just because it gives you some more space, okay? I'm being lazy, I'm not using it on a platform, I just moved it off to the front. Wherever you guys wanna use it is fine. Everything's gonna be the same. The only difference is that we're starting in a lower position, okay? And so all that's gonna look like, and this is something that I should really do a lot more of because I don't have a lot of great lower back flexibility and my butt tends to rise up a lot, all right, is we're gonna get into this good position where we're starting at, all right, sink way down low and go ahead and snatch. That's it. All right, so this block we're gonna work on a lot of techniques, all right, this cycle I mean. So yeah, pretty much showed you all of the different new exercises, how to do things from blocks throughout this whole video. Take what you need from it. Again, if you've got any questions, shoot me an email, shoot me a message on Facebook, come find me in person if you're part of our gym. Thanks a lot for watching. The last thing that we're gonna show is jerks from the blocks, okay? And jerks from the blocks are pretty cool because now we can start training both the clean and the jerk separately. All right, so you're gonna need to take some blocks and set them up pretty high. For me, I'm a short guy. I use a medium block, a small block, and a tall block, and that works pretty well for me. All right, I do wanna be able to not expend a lot of energy getting underneath of the bar and driving it up, but I also need them to be low enough that when I do my dip and drive, the plates don't touch, okay? So for me, that's roughly a little bit lower than mid-sternum, that's about mid-abs, okay? That seems to work. I could probably go a little higher if I wanted to, but this seems to work pretty well. From here, all I'm gonna do is roll it on back onto the shoulders, stand up with it, hit my jerk, stand up, drop it, follow it down, make sure that it doesn't bounce all over the place, and I can set up for multiple jerks at this point. Okay, we can do this with push press, push jerk, jerks, any type of jerks, all right? You can even probably squat jerk if you make sure that these blocks are set up low enough, all right? So that's the final thing that we're gonna show with the blocks as far as for the jerks. Okay, so one thing that we need to go over is where do we set the blocks up on the platform, okay? I like to cheat them in a little bit more on the wood than completely flush with the rubber, okay? And there's a couple reasons for that. One, if you watch when you guys are lifting, the weight, because of the way that we designed our platforms here, hit right on the edge of the wood. And so if the blocks are right on the edge of the wood, that doesn't give a lot of room laterally for the plates to bounce around on top of the blocks and still stay on them. So I cheat them in just a little bit, okay? And so that's for the jerk and for anything that I'm pulling off the blocks. You can see that they're scooched in just a little bit. They don't need to necessarily be even, as long as your bar has enough space to bounce either way and not fall off of the platform, okay? If you're gonna use the riser, all right, obviously you need to have enough space in between the blocks to fit that riser in. This riser is cut so that it can fit in either way, at the same width as the regular platform. All right, so I think that's about it. I think we covered everything that we're gonna go over in this cycle. If I missed anything or anything wasn't clear, shoot me a message, shoot me an email, find me in person, ask me, hey Nick, what did you mean, okay? Find another coach. All of our coaches have experience with lifting off the blocks and they should be able to help you out, okay? We went over a lot of things, all right? So the biggest thing is be safe when you're using these blocks, all right? There's nothing to fear, all right? But you need to respect them, okay? So make sure that there's not a lot of shit laying around. Make sure that people are paying attention when you're lifting on them. Make sure that you're paying attention when you lift on them. As long as you guys follow all the tips and advice and you make sure that you're following the bar down every single time, you guys should be more than safe, okay? The blocks are a lot of fun, and I think that they've improved my technique a lot over the years, so I'm excited to give you guys a lot of this block knowledge and a lot of this block work to see where we can go over the next couple weeks in this little cycle after our Napa meet. It's going to be a nice little break. We're still going to get in a ton of volume on our backs and everything like that. So again, if you've got any questions whatsoever, find a coach, ask somebody, watch another YouTube video, watch this video over again, okay? Be ready to do work. This week's coming up.